Jamie here. I want to talk to you about going to the Unrig Summit in Nashville with GloPoll. So, first and foremost, I got to meet my hero, Lessig, and talk to him and show him GloPoll. And then I got to meet some really well-established former tech entrepreneurs who got into the civic-tech space. And then I got to meet young entrepreneurs with startups doing things really similar to what GloPoll is doing. And when we got together, the gears are turning, and there's so many partnership opportunities, and it just feels so good to know I'm not alone. I'm not the only one making citizen empowering tech. So it was worth it in every way. Nashville was cool in itself too. So the Unrig Summit was inspiring, motivating, and reaffirming that I'm on the right path, doing the right thing. So it's good to have some reaffirmation because that makes the adversity worth it. And there was some adversity on this trip. I got to Nashville on Friday with 3 hours of sleep. And then I tried talking to my hero, Lessig. He's like the Jimi Hendrix of anti-corruption. But he was like really preoccupied gearing up for a speech he was good speech, by the way. But, you know, I was a little deflated because it seems like he didn't care. But that was disproven later on. But then I get back to my Airbnb, and the host was just some type of crazy. There's something up with him. He was just really weird. I had dropped my bag there earlier in the day, and then when I come in the evening, he's standing outside and won't let me in, and he just is like talking really fast, and his breath smells like alcohol, and the vibes were really creepy. And then he's like, you know what? We're not getting along. Get out of my house. And he like takes my bag and gives it to me. So I'm just on the streets of Nashville at night, and the hotels are over $500. There was a big chess convention or something. Maybe it's just expensive. But I was not trying to pay $500 a night. And I'm just on my ass. And I'm mad at this guy for being psycho. And I just want to get justice with Airbnb. But then I called my awesome girlfriend and, you know, talked about it. And she sort of confirms, like, no, don't worry about making it work with Airbnb now. Deal with that later. Just get yourself under a roof tonight. And she went online for me, and she found me the only thing under $500 was $50, and that was a truck stop in a town called Lebanon, 40 minutes outside of Nashville. So I go to like the seediest of all motels imaginable. Like, I'm talking, there's bugs on the floor, and I'm Googling, like, is that a bed bug? Mercifully no. But it was the seediest motel ever. You know, that was like rock bottom of this trip. That's the adversity that makes it all worth it, because day 2 was glorious. I met up with Lessig again, and he just explained, yeah, I was preoccupied gearing up for the speech, but after the speech, I'm giving you 2 minutes and you can pitch me GloPoll. And I was like so ready. And after he gave his speech, which was like Obama level delivery, then I'm pitching it to him, and the crowd of all the other admirers are around, so I'm just pitching GloPoll, and then I take the phone out of my hand and I just put it in his hand, and he's like using it, and oh, it just felt so good. And then he's like, yeah, email me more info. So we sort of went back and forth, and you know, it just feels really good to have. He said it's clever. He called it clever, and that's good enough for me. So that was really cool. And then on that same day, I met some OG tech entrepreneurs who have turned to the civic space. Because if you're a successful tech entrepreneur and you have all the money you need, what matters next is just making a difference in the world. And seriously, corruption is the problem. That's the number one cause that makes it really hard for you to gain progress on any other cause you care about, from animal rights to plastic in the sea. If we have a corrupt democracy, we're not going to be able to get the policies we need to address those issues in our lifetime. So I love seeing smart people come to the same conclusion as me, that corruption is the problem. So I met this guy. He was the founder of Degreed, one of the first edutech companies. And he has this great project called Vice Run, saying the vice president should have to run, because vice presidents, they're like just the add-on. Nobody gets to vote for them separate from the candidate. So he's doing that work. And then I met Ethan Beard, who was one of the first Facebook programmers, and also he works for Google, and now he works for Ripple, one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. So I got to talk with him too. I was a little bit not chill because he's invested in a civic tech app called Countable, and I just went a little too savage pointing out how GloPoll is different and better than Countable. So I think I might have put him off a little because I just was too savage tearing apart the competitions. But like, it was a good talk either way. We were chatting for 40 minutes. He appreciates what I'm doing, but a lot of people earlier on, they're like, I'll believe it when I see the app. And now that I'm growing, they're like, I'll believe it when I see the users. So yeah, definitely getting users and finding some growth hack is what GloPoll is working on now to achieve, our next level. But it was just so good there was a third former entrepreneur, and we were just going over the headache that it is using contractors in India to do the coding, and because I go through a lot of adversity with that. Every feature on GloPoll is hard fought, and there's a lot more in the pipeline. It's just way more work than you ever would have guessed. And it's just so good to just like decompress with OG tech entrepreneurs and just know that the path I'm walking has been walked before. I'm not alone in this. And the advice coming from them, I hold a lot higher than a lot of other free advice I get, because I know that they get what I'm trying to do, and I know they've done it before. So I cannot emphasize enough the value of meeting some experienced kind of mentor figure tech entrepreneurs. But then what's the most galvanizing to me is meeting a new generation of civic-tech entrepreneurs. There's this one startup, the guys over at Liquidus, liquid.us, and their whole concept is so cool, is direct democracy when you want it and representative democracy when you don't. So you can weigh in on every single issue if you like to, or you can give your vote to someone else who you trust, like your uncle or me, to vote on your behalf while you're on vacation. And who knows, maybe you're going to be on vacation all the time unless it's an issue that is close to home. So it was just really cool meeting them. And then there's this other startup called E Pluribus Unum. So E Pluribus is just this really slick app and browser add-on where every time you tweet at your elected officials, it will also send that same message into their official email box. And I'd have to show you, but it looks really cool. But then this guy, Liam, he's running into the same problem that all of the civic tech is. We're trying to make citizens more powerful, except at the end of the day, you got to verify that they're real. So he has, I'll just tease it now, it's called Unum, and it's a really interesting way to authenticate users. And all he had was his like landing page open on his laptop, and I knew exactly what he meant. And I just went up to him and I'm like, shut up and take my money, because it's such a cool solution, and I'm glad someone's doing it, because that means we don't have to build it ourselves. And he's like, no, it's free for civic tech startups, so they'll do free authentication for GloPoll users who want to get verified to unlock super benefits. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So I got to meet my heroes, I got to meet some tech OGs, and I got to meet a new generation of civic tech entrepreneurs, all in the beautiful city of Nashville. And, I got to have some fun in the margins riding around on e-scooters. So, I really didn't know what to expect at Unrig Summit, but I feel so lucky. And you can't get lucky if you don't show up. I showed up and I got lucky. I got so much out of Unrig Summit, and I cannot wait to come back there next year and just show the world where GloPoll will be in 1 year.